Hello all, welcome to the today's live session. Myself, Raj Bhargav. I'm working as a cybersecurity analyst in Indian Cybersecurity Solution. And today we'll be discussing about some session management, how session management works and all. So let's quickly get into the thing. Okay. So I hope my tab was sharing, I guess. Yes. Okay. So session management. What do you mean by session management? Session is nothing but okay. Let's get into the topic as of now. So, session is nothing but when you access control, it will be like that. It will be associated with some either network HTTP request, a response transition associated with the user. The same user should be like getting all throughout the session. It should not be able to modify the session. So that okay. So, it is also crucial for protecting the user information and the application also as well as. So, today we'll be saying for the some of the best practice for securing implementation for session management and what is it. We'll be saying throughout this. So, web application creates session to keep track of anonymous users after like a very first user request. Like when we try to log in into some uh, your web browser, like to into some of the what do you call account, like some our account, we log in into some example, assume Facebook. So what they'll be keeping track of that session. So very the first request of it, so that it can go through that session. After the session ended, like the it will be killed. The process will be killed each and everything. So that like if anyone tries to take our session, it will be try to prevent it out and everything. So. Uh, So this session will be session will make the web application will make use of session once a user has successfully authenticated. So to ensure that the identity of an user on any subsequent requests as well as being uh, security access control, authorized access to the user private data or the usability of application. So once an authenticated session has been established, the session ID or token, we call it as so is temporarily equivalent to the strongest authentication method used by the application, such as username, passwords, phrases, one-time password, client-based digital certificates, smart cards, or biometrics. So this all comes under these all things. So, HTTP is a stateless protocol. So, where here each request and response pair is independent of their web interactions. In order to introduce the concept of session, we require to implement this session management capabilities to link the both of the authentication and access controls, or you can call it as authorization. Uh, Okay. So the session ID or a token binds the user authentication credentials in the form of an user session to the user HTTP traffic and appropriate access controls enforced by the web application. Okay. So the authentication, session management, and access control is like in modern web application. So the implementation and binding rules on the web developer hands as well as. So this makes a web framework and all like makes the implementation of security session management it will be very challenging as well as. So, in order to keep the authenticated state and to track the user progresses within the web application. So we'll be having a session identifier called a session ID or token. So that is assigned when the user create like assigned the creation of session creation time, and is shared and exchanged by the user in the web application for during the particular session. So it is only sent on every HTTP request. The session ID is a name equals to value or like that it will be there. So for the session ID as also a fingerprinting, uh, as well as session ID length should be proper. It should be 128 bits, 16 bytes, as well as session ID entropy, as well as content or value. It should be good. Session manage. So as it tracks the user interaction and maintains state across multiple requests to authenticate users, personalize content, and track the user activity within a web application. Session like to session life cycle, how the life cycle of your session will be there. Initiation, when we log in, it will be creating a session. After that, authentication, then after token generation, then the token will be stored. After you enter the session expire, the session token will be expired and it will be terminated. As well as importance of secure session management, it will helps us the web developers or any other thing. It will be protecting the users data, sensitive information, as you see it over here, like credentials, personal details, financial data, and everything. Application integrity, so they won't be able to modify the data, comply with the regulations, as well as strict data privacy and security should be met. Session initiation and authentication. First, login. So when we provide the valid credentials to authenticate the identity, so after that, the session initiation, the server creates a session and generates a unique session token, which is uh, non-readable. Like you can't read it. It will be like some clumsy letters with jumbled letters, numbers, and each and everything. It will be there. So the session token is securely stored either on the server or the client side. Okay. So session token, token generation and storage coming to. So it uses strong random and unique session tokens to prevent guessing or the brute forcing the attacks and all. So that this stored session token securely either in an HTTP only cookie or in server side session store. Okay. It encrypts the session token to protect against any unauthorized access and eavesdropping. Session coming to expiration and termination. So it sets a reasonable session timeout to limit the window of vulnerability. So if the session is not expiring after some time, like you stay away from your laptop for some time, like assume like have away for the uh, some 10 minutes or 30 minutes, assume 30 minutes. If this session is not expired within that time, then it might be vulnerability so that the user might have accesses and like you can go through your things. So that's why session should be expired within that particular time. So it should be, we need to provide a clear logout mechanism to allow users to terminate the session. And invalidation, so user upon logout or timeout to prevent the refuse and all. Next, so using this cross-site scripting, we can try to get this session token as well as so. When we inject some XSS malicious script into a web page, we can steal this session token. So, like we have different types of XSS reflectors, stored and DOM. What we need to do for mitigating this, like sanitize and validate the user inputs and content security policies, and keep software up to date, as well as CSRF, as well as like verify the origin, like from where it is coming, the request. the request from where it is generating, as well as after that user CSRF tokens. So yeah, it will be generating a valid unique token so that like it will be prevents from the forced request and all. Next, implement double submit. So we need to implement this so that the token is sent to that particular request matches and stored in that particular session itself. Next section, fixation vulnerability, session initiation. So attacker will also create a valid session that provides the to the victim, session token to the victim. So the victim logins in the application associate the attacker session token with the victim's account. Okay, and you call this as a session hijacking. So the attacker can now use these victim sessions to access the application and perform actions on their behalf. Okay. So best practices for securing this session management to use strong session tokens randomly to generate them. Next, implement secure storage, enforce session timeouts, validate user input for like to prevent excesses in CSR. So this is about uh, the today's topic. So let's meet with another different topic. Thank you. Bye.